the quiet, endless expanse of the ancient realm where gods dwell beyond the grasp of mortal time, there lies a sanctuary touched by the softest light of dawn and the tender glow of twilight. This is Asgard, a realm suspended between the vast sky and the shimmering roots of the world tree, Yggdrasil. Among its golden halls and whispered glades, life flows in a gentle rhythm, carrying the breath of countless stories. Here, within the peaceful embrace of this enchanted domain, time holds a different shape. It is neither hurried nor restless. Instead, it lingers like the last fading notes of a lullaby, inviting serenity and quiet wonder. Nestled near a crystal-clear spring that sings its soft song to the wind, a small grove blooms in perpetual softness, its leaves forever green and sparkling with dew like scattered stars. At the heart of this grove stands a slender, graceful figure whose presence radiates the gentle warmth of youth and renewal. She is Idunn, the keeper of the golden apples that guard the agelessness of the Aesir gods. Her hair flows like threads of sunlight, her eyes reflecting the calm depths of still waters, embodying the very essence of youth preserved in time. Idunn moves through her grove with a tender reverence, her hands caressing the branches of a great tree that cradles the precious fruit. These apples are not ordinary fruit, but sacred gifts, glowing softly like captured sunlight, pulsing with a magic that renews and restores. The gods of Asgard, mighty and wise, depend upon these apples, for they alone hold the power to keep their strength and vitality from fading away. The air around Idunn is filled with a subtle, sweet fragrance, a mingling of earth and blossom, whispering promises of endurance and hope. She knows the importance of her charge, understanding that each apple carries the quiet miracle of perpetual youth. Even as the world beyond Asgard's walls shifts and stirs with tales of heroism and hardship, here there is a peaceful stillness, a sanctuary from the passage of ordinary time. In this space, the gods gather from their thrones and halls, seeking the gift that Idunn tends with careful devotion. They approach with calm reverence, their voices low, their faces softened by trust. Among them is the All-Father Odin, wise and far-seeing, who often contemplates the vastness of fate from his high seat. Beside him stand the shield maiden, Freyja, radiant and fierce, and Thor, the storm bringer, whose deep laughter rumbles like distant thunder, yet comes now as gentle as a breeze. Each god carries the weight of many stories, many battles and burdens, yet in the presence of Idunn's apples, their weariness eases like the soft sinking into a warm, quiet sleep. The grove seems to pulse with a life beyond the ordinary, the light shifting to cradle the moment, drawing the gods into a calm space between breaths, between heartbeats. Here, time stretches gently, as if cradling a secret just beneath the surface, waiting to unfold in its own slow, deliberate way. Above and beneath, the great world tree spreads its mighty branches and roots, holding all the worlds in a delicate balance. Asgard is but one jewel in this complex tapestry, a place where the divine breathes and dreams in harmony with the unseen threads of fate. In this peaceful moment, all is still, except for the soft rustle of leaves and the faint murmur of the spring, which sings an eternal lullaby for those who guard the light of youth. It is here, amidst this quiet grace and glowing promise, that the story begins, not with haste, but with the tender unfolding of a tale carried on the wind, a tale of guardianship and power, of trust and challenges yet to come. As Idunn tends to the sacred fruit, the boundary between day and night blurs softly into a seamless dream, inviting all who listen to settle deeper into calmness, ready to journey gently into the heart of myth and memory, where time itself seems to pause in the embrace of the apples of youth. Beneath the vast canopy of Yggdrasil, the world tree, where its leaves seemed to whisper ancient secrets with every gentle breeze, Idunn moved with a quiet grace amongst the dappled light and shadow. Her hands were ever gentle as they cradled the basket that held the glowing apples of youth, a radiant fruit that shimmered with an almost otherworldly light. Each apple was a quiet miracle, pulsing softly as if it carried the heartbeat of life itself. The gods of Asgard trusted her with this sacred charge, knowing well that their strength and vitality relied upon the nourishment these magical apples provided. Her duty was more than a task. It was a sacred trust woven deeply into the fragile balance of their world. The quiet sanctuary around her was filled not only with the rustling of leaves, but with the low murmurs of the gods as they approached to take their share. Loki himself came now and then, his eyes bright with mischief and curiosity, though he did not disturb the serenity that surrounding Idunn's vigil. The golden light of the apples contrasted softly against the cool blue of the sky just beyond the branches, and the entire scene felt like a gentle breath held in time, peaceful, soothing, and tender. She remembered when she first took up the guardianship. It was given by the All-Father Odin himself, a gift and burden wrapped into one precious destiny. To hold the power of youth was to hold the fragile thread between life's bright dawn and its quiet dusk. Idunn often wondered about the weight of this role, not just the responsibility, but the solitude it brought. Though surrounded by gods, few truly understood the deep calm she sought within herself to remain ever vigilant, yet never stern, protective, yet gentle. As days drifted to nights and glided back to mornings, the world seemed to pulse in harmonious rhythm. Birds sang soft melodies in the branches overhead, and the faint shimmer of light across the apples reminded her of the elusive nature of time. Each apple could turn weariness back to vigor, strands of silver into strands of gold, and aging faces to smooth, youthful ones once more. The power held within her arms was soft, yet infinitely precious, a secret whispered only to those who needed strength beyond the mortal reckoning. One quiet twilight, a deep hush blanketed Asgard, the usual sounds muted by a calm that felt like the breath before a coming storm. Idunn lingered near the great branches, fingertips brushing the golden skin of an apple, when the air shifted ever so slightly. A shadow slipped through the leaves, indistinct, yet deliberate. For a moment, time seemed to hang suspended between the gentle rustle and the warmth of the setting sun. Idunn's calm gaze turned toward the shadow with a tenderness that masked a rising tension. The world of the gods, she knew, was as fragile as the apples themselves. This unseen presence was a whisper of change, subtle and unsettling. The very essence of youth and renewal, the magic she bore, was a beacon that reached beyond Asgard's protective veil. Though she could not yet see the face hidden among the branches, her heart recognized that the quiet peace of her days might shift into something more complicated and profound. The sacred apples pulsed with a gentle light, an anchor and a warning, as Idunn steadied herself, drawing on the stillness that had guided her through countless cycles of day and night. As the soft darkness crept further over the realm, the stars blinked open with patient light, and the gods retired to their rest. A gentle sorrow touched Idunn's soul. She was the keeper of an immortal gift, but immortality itself could never shield against the tides of change or the fragile ache of loss. Still, she breathed in the cool evening air, heart steady as the roots of Yggdrasil beneath her feet. In that moment, the silence seemed to hold 1,000 tales, yet untold, and the apples, glimmering softly beside her, waited quietly in their timeless vigil. As the quiet days stretched onward, in the golden halls of Asgard, the gentle rhythm of life continued, tender and true. Idunn remained nestled beside the great world tree, her hands resting soft and steady on the cool branches that bore the precious apples of youth. Each apple gleamed in the soft light like a droplet of morning sun caught in shining dew, glowing with a silent promise, a promise of vitality, of renewal, of time held gracefully at bay. Around her, the gods moved slowly, deliberately, their faces calm and eyes clear, their strength and joy untouched by wear or worry. Yet, as the moments grew delicate and deep, a subtle hush settled over the land, whispering through the leaves, weaving its way like gentle mist through the very heart of Asgard. And in this stillness, a quiet tension rose, not sharp or forceful, but tender and nuanced, like the soft sway of a branch before it bends. Idunn felt it as well, a gentle stirring at the edges of her awareness, a delicate unease threading through the peaceful fabric of her days. It was as though the world itself were leaning closer, listening more deeply for a sound none could quite place. She kept her gaze steady, soft as twilight, knowing that her vigilance was a quiet blessing, one that held the very essence of life's resilience in her tender hands. One evening, as the pale light of dusk drifted like a whisper across the sky, a gentle rustling stirred among the branches. The tender leaves of the world tree flickered in a slow dance, and there, stepping lightly into the warm glow of the orchard, came Loki, the trickster god, his eyes alight with a restless sparkle. He moved with a silence that barely stirred the air, and though his smile was slight, it held a promise of change. Idunn watched him with serene composure, her heart steady, even as the world seemed to shift a little beneath her feet. "Idunn," he said softly, his voice a quiet murmur like the wind through the trees. "Such precious fruit you keep, such delicate life you guard." His gaze lingered on the apples, gentle yet filled with a hidden longing. There was a pause that stretched between them, like the calm before nightfall, silent but weighty with meaning. She answered with a voice calm and clear, a river flowing steady in the twilight. "These apples hold the youth of gods, the light of life itself. They are fragile as dawn and fierce as the hearth's flame. I guard them not for myself, but for all who call Asgard home." Loki's smile deepened into something softer, more shadowed. "The world is vast, and the winds carry many whispers. Some say the sacred are meant to change, to face the leaves that fall and the winter's breath. His eyes, ever dancing with secrets, held hers for a moment longer, a silent challenge floating between them. Idunn's gaze softened like moonlight bathing the earth. She understood then that what stirred beneath the surface was not a harsh storm, but a gentle tide, a necessary unfolding. The apples gleamed quietly, as if waiting with her for the moment of calm surrender to time's passage, even as their magic touched the realms. It was in this quiet moment that a plan formed, one woven not from anger or haste, but from the delicate threads of fate and change. Loki, with all his restless spirit, would carry out a deed that tested the steadfastness of youth and the quiet strength of renewal. And Idunn, with her heart open and steady, would meet this change, not with fear, but with the soft courage that comes from deep knowing. Soon thereafter, as the sky softened into the pale colors of dawn, Loki lured Idunn beyond the golden walls with gentle words cloaked in warmth, into the wide unknown beyond Asgard's light. The forest welcomed them with quiet shadows, the air sweet with the scent of earth and pine. And there, in the shade of ancient oaks, Loki transformed swiftly and silently into a falcon, swift and sure. Before Idunn could speak a word, he swept upward, carrying the sacred apples away from the realm they nourished. A stillness like the depth of winter fell over Asgard. The gods' youth began to wane, and their laughter softened into quiet sighs. Yet even in this dimming light, there was no anger, no bitter cry, only a waiting hush, a gentle holding of breath. Idunn herself stood at the heart of the change, calm as a lake mirrored beneath a pale moon, her spirit steady through sorrow's quiet tides. She whispered to the wind, a soft plea carried through the branches and leaves, reaching into the far corners of the world where the falcon soared like a fleeting dream. With patience, like the slow turning of stars, the gods endured, and fate, in its quiet wisdom, spun new beginnings from the threads of loss. The falcon's flight, though swift, faltered as the gods' concern grew. A gentle kindness that touched even the heart of the trickster himself. Loki, touched by the longing and faith he witnessed, returned the precious fruit, their glow undimmed by the journey. Idunn, standing beneath the waking sky, received them with a smile tender as dawn's first light. Restoration came slowly, like the soft blossoming of spring after a long winter. The gods' strength returned, flowing through their veins as warmth returns to frozen rivers. The apples sat once more, nestled in Idunn's hands, gleaming with the light of many dawns. Asgard breathed again in the steady rhythm of life, a quiet song of youth renewed, and time embraced without fear. Idunn's gaze lingered on the horizon, where sky met earth in an endless promise. In the stillness of the moment, she felt the gentle truth that all things, even those held most dear, must sometimes change, surrendering to the flow of time and the mystery of renewal. Her heart, steady and soft, opened wide to this endless dance of holding on and letting go, of eternal cycles humming with life beneath the quiet moon. And now, as night deepens over your own quiet world, imagine the soft glow of the apples, resting like warm jewels in Idunn's gentle hands. The gods in Asgard, wrapped in calm and the slow unfolding of endless time, invite you to settle deeper into the soothing hush. With breath long and even, feel the tender peace of renewal, like a gentle caress, like the fading trails of twilight stars. Let your thoughts drift like leaves floating on a slow, winding stream, carried gently by the winds of restful dreams. Here, in this soft space between wakefulness and sleep, all the world's ancient magic whispers, lullabies of calm and quiet grace. Rest now, wrapped in the gentle arms of timeless stories, where every ending folds softly into a new beginning, and youth blooms eternal in the heart's stillness. Sleep well, dear listener. May your night be as peaceful as the quiet halls of Asgard, your dreams as gentle as Idunn's glowing apples, and your heart steady as the world tree itself, rooted in calm, reaching always toward the stars. Let your breath guide you softly into the embrace of night, calm and free, until the dawn gently gathers you once again.